This programme is brought to you by vinny.co.uk.
Good evening, welcome to the Champions League pool here on Free Sports. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb as ever with you on Monday nights. It's back to the pool and back to the Champions League, Simon, an event that started last week and started with a bang.
Yeah, fantastic opening week. We saw a brilliant performance from Josh Kane to make it through. He was really solid and the best player, and we've got another cracking lineup of 4 players tonight.
Yeah, really good lineup. We'll show you that right now. This is the 4 players that are with us tonight. 1 advances through to the knockout stage. We'll explain a little bit more about how the tournament works in due course. But this is the lineup: Andy Cragg, Ole Bale, Aaron Davies and John Sullivan. A couple of players that we've seen fairly recently actually on Monday nights on Free Sports, and a couple that we haven't. So looking forward to seeing how Andy and Ole in particular get on. But Aaron is a player that we all know very well. He's been featured quite a bit on Free Sports, and looking forward to seeing how he goes tonight. A very unique tournament, this one, Simon, and we really enjoyed watching it last week. 10 grand prize pot to the winner, handful of the all-time greats playing, but it just gives us entertainment week upon week upon week for some of the finest players in the country and indeed the world.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a brilliant lineup. We've got some world-class players in this event. We've got some unknown quantities as well. There's plenty of characters, and there's something about this format. It just really promotes drama, and it is really exciting all the way through. With these are round-robin matches, so everyone plays everyone, and with 20-minute matches, it's really 20 minutes or races to 4. It is really quick fire, and every ball really does matter.
Oh, Andy Cragg has already called his extension. You saw there the shot clock was ticking down. On Andy.
Interesting decision to use his extension on his first shot. You only get 1 extension for whole match, and Andy's decided to use it on the first shot, which is slightly surprising. He may come to regret that later on in this match. Time will tell.
Yeah, he looks a bit frustrated there, does Andy? And he's just going to drop that yellow in, which gives him the control of those yellow balls. We are playing 20-minute matches tonight on a 20-second shot clock. Whichever one comes first, it's a race to 4, or if it's tied at 0, once the clock strikes, we will take the result there as well. Ole doesn't like the look of those yellows and elects to take the pocket.
Don't think there was much attempt at the pot there. I agree with you. I think they're just taking the pocket, turn the table over. Those balls around the black are really awkward. It's fair to say, looking at the 4 players we have today, that Andy comes in as a bit more of an underdog, a bit more of an unknown quantity. Decent snooker player, but hasn't featured in many of the top pool tables. A slightly different story for Ole. A big name and a big character from the world of pool. Been around for a very long time, won some big titles.
Yeah, Andy's a local boy from Stoke, which is where we are right now. Well, not technically, but Newcastle underline. Must remember to get that right. But the man they call Basher has bashed his way into trouble. In off, and that will hand Ole cue ball in hand to really try and wreak some havoc on frame number 1 here.
Important with this first shot, or with the cue ball in hand, is to find a place on the table where you can develop your bad ball. So the one just below the black is the ball he's looking to develop. So he gives himself the best angle to do so. Lovely little nudge, and now they're open. Ball over the bottom right-hand corner. He just has to be careful when playing position on that one.
See there just how responsive this table is. I think that white caught him a little bit about going right up to the jaw there. We've both had a knock on this table in the last couple of weeks, and it is zippy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful table. It is very quick, very reactive, and all 4 players have had their practice on there. And actually, I was just at the back of the arena when Oli was having his practice, and he couldn't stop raving about the table enough. He absolutely loved it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes on it.
Yeah, he's settled quickly, hasn't he? Some lovely shots so far from Oli. Got some good titles to his name, and as Simon has mentioned, international champion with Wales a couple of times in both team and individual competitions. And the first frame of the night goes to Bale. Excellent start for him. This is his opponent. It's Andy Cragg, as mentioned, man they call Basher. He's a Staffordshire County player. He is from this neck of the woods. Not sure if it's quite his local club, but it won't be far off either way.
Yeah, he certainly knows the venue. Would have played here a number of times, and I think he's probably more known for his as a snooker player, a decent amateur snooker player, but has been playing some pool. He's won titles. You can see there, making it through to the Staffs Open final, which is a decent tournament. There's some good players in this part of the world. He actually lost to Neil Raybone, a big name from the pool world, in that final. So he's certainly capable, but as I said, probably starts tonight as the outsider of the four.
Frame number 2.
Interesting opening frame.
Bale to break.
Only happy to give Andy a little bit of a go, and Andy was happy to take it on, even though it was a really tricky table. I think that may be the pattern of the match. I think Andy's going to be very, very aggressive.
That's going to come up dry for early. Not quite there for him. And a chance for Andy to immediately bounce back, having lost that first frame of the match, and indeed of the evening. Reminder as well, if you did tune in last week, we're playing international 8-ball rules, which is slightly different to the black ball rule set that we've been using on free sports with the shootout showdowns, etc. over the last few months. I think in play it doesn't really change a huge amount. The biggest difference is the response to fouls, which instead of a shot and a visit, which we've been used to, it's simply loss of turn and cue ball in hand for the opponent. Discussing it a little bit earlier, weren't we, with Aaron Davis' side? I think we were all in agreement that it's a rule set which favours the more skilled players. You know, if you're good enough to take advantage of it, it should favour you. So almost a meritocratic rule set.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You're always playing under pressure. You're always having to clear up with, the fear of missing, and you don't have that backup of an extra shot or a free visit or anything like that. Nice little developing shot there for Andy. Difficult to land on the next ball.
How to stop the clock, please?
He got a kick on the white. This red does go to the bottom left-hand corner pocket. I wasn't sure it did, but I think it does. So he's still on this ball and has an opportunity. It is 20 seconds a shot all the way through these matches, but when the referee is cleaning the cue ball, then the clock will stop.
Can you reset the clock, please, to where it was? I asked for time to stop.
V.E.F just keeping the timekeeping department in check.
Time running. Apologies.
Big shot.
Yeah, this is frame ball really for Andy. Well, I said it. This is now very much now frame ball. This is tough.
Yeah, he potted that in the side of the pocket. It wasn't as clean as he wanted, and now this is trickier than he wanted.
That was tough. And Oli now is licking his lips at the prospect of this one. This is a training sequence almost. 7 yellows all in the open. But I tell you what, the bullet, can't believe it. And has he left that black open? I think he has. And that is an uncharacteristic miss from Oli Bale. And Andy Cragg here with a huge chance. Huge let-off. And makes Bale pay. One apiece then. And Only Bale kicking himself.
Yeah, in short matches, races to 4 or 20 minutes, every shot counts, as I've already said, and this is an opportunity to really punish your opponent. And it's a tricky ball, but you just never expect Ole to miss that sort of ball.
Absolutely not. I mentioned Ole has had a couple of international wins. He certainly has there. You can see them in 2006 and 2011 Welsh International. Lives down in Somerset in Bridgewater, but Welsh on his mum's side, he was telling me. Does fly the Welsh flag high in international competitions. But also a very proud Somerset boy at the same time.
Absolutely, although the one thing on this profile it doesn't tell you is that Ole is undisputedly the greatest player I've ever seen, and probably anyone has ever seen, playing one-handed. He is absolutely incredible. He really is. I hope he has a shot somewhere tonight where he has to reach over the table and the rest won't do, and he decides to go one-handed, because it really is a sight to see him try and clear the table one-handed. He really is impressive.
Time running.
It's an absolutely textbook break from Andy. Much better than his first. Cue ball right down the centre of the table. About as good as you can hit them, really.
Good opportunity here. Nothing's gone awkward. Everything's got a pocket. Redser is going to be his choice. That yellow at the top, the one near the break line, may not go to the top left, so that would make Reds a better opportunity. Key for him really is probably going to be landing fairly straight on the red to the top left to be able to track through to the one on the top cushion. He could go a slightly different way if he wanted to, but that's going to be the trickiest part of the finish for him. Black only goes to the bottom left as well. Slightly short of his perfect position at this point. And that's not ideal. He needs to be able to see the one to the top left, and I don't think he can. Not sure if the one he's nearest to does go to the top left. If it doesn't, then he's got a real problem. And it obviously didn't.
Decent effort at the recovery shot, and you can see the hand up there from Andy. I think he's got a little bit of a friendly roll here. Not sure he's left Ole a huge amount to go at. He could just sneak that through, and that should open things up for Ole.
Difficult when they're that close together. He's picked that angle well. Oh, that's brilliant. That's such a subtle little touch, but I was thinking the one just above that left centre pocket was going to cause a problem, but he flicks off one to pot the other, opens it up. It's such a subtle shot, but it's the difference between making this clearance and not. It's brilliant.
That's why when you've got a player who plays as classily as Ole does, it makes the miss that he had in frame two even more surprising.
Completely agree.
Really was uncharacteristic. But he is making hay at the moment. 2-1. Never in doubt on that occasion, and Ole Bale does take the lead with a shade over 10 minutes to go in our first match.
It's quite impressive, actually. Andy waved his hand in apology there when he missed, because he thought he'd left it safe, but he just came to the table and cleared him up without thinking.
Yeah, this was last week's entertainment here on the Champions League on Free Sports. Josh Kane coming out of a pretty good group, actually. Rob Wall and Jimmy Croxton in particular really giving everything throughout the night. Josh Kane just having a little bit too much in the end and got his way through. The big dagger really in that match night was Rob Warren 1, Josh Kane 3. That was the one that just about qualified Josh, and that game really did hang on a knife edge, and if we take that as a blueprint for nights going forward, will mean if there's a couple of players who look good in the early going, could hinge on one match, could have a final, as it were.
Yeah, that was the match, wasn't it? And there was a little bit of fortune there in that match for Josh. He was the best player on the night, deserved to go through, but that match was decided, or a big moment in that match was a little bit of fortune for Josh, and that can be the difference between winning and losing in this sort of format.
Well, Ollie's been kicked in off the break. Quite going for it. Put him on his break. Try and then one in off. And a reminder as well that there is only one shot available to Andy Cragg. It's the same as an in-play foul, just cue ball in hand behind the break line. So Andy still with a good opportunity, still has a chance to clear here, but we talked about the balls being quite meritocratic earlier. Quite a lot of pros, I find when you speak to them, don't like that rule of if you're going off the break, giving your shot and a visit over, and you know, it essentially loses you the frame because it is such an advantage. Whereas this, you've still got a little bit of work to do, and it was very unlucky.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of players do. A lot of players love the way the break rules set out in the international 8-ball rules. Your opponent gets an opportunity, cue ball in hand behind the break line, but that's it. So, and it's I think it's got to be the fairest way. I think there's times when giving away a shot and a visit after the break is very severe. Good shot from Ole, just nudging his yellow over the pocket, leaving nothing for Andy to go at. I wonder if he can see enough of this to make a double. No, just gonna get one of Ole's off the table and leave it safe. He's done a good job of that.
Yeah, exhibiting another one of the rule changes. That's a combination shot, and in other forms of the game that would be a foul, but as long as you play your colour set legally first, you can pop the other, which Andy did very nicely there. He's given Ollie a little bit to think about. Ole so much to think about. He's actually used his extension here. This isn't an easy shot, and it does require a little bit more time.
Yeah, the clever bit for Andy was the fact that he's made sure that there's nothing for Ole to go at, but also he's blocked the yellow from going to the bottom left-hand corner pocket, stopping Ole having a clearance if he did come up with something quite incredible from there. So good shot all round, but a good return from Ole as well. Blocks off that red. And that's going to be difficult for Andy to solve in this visit if he wants to go for a clearance. Be surprised if he does because of that red to the bottom left.
He's rushed into that. Just a bit of shot clock pressure, and wonder if Ole now feels that now's the chance to go for it. That's a very, very cute little shot.
I question whether he actually wanted that to go in the way he played it. He may have done. Might have been a better advantage just to stay over the pocket, because he has to solve those two yellows on the right-hand side. But if this red goes to the bottom left, this is a loose shot from Ole. You could see Andy come round and he was straight down to have a look. I think it's tight. Obviously couldn't pot it.
Oh, is he going to get a stroke of luck here? Well, a bit more on it, and I think he would have. Still got the problem of that yellow at the bottom of the table, the bottom left as we look at it from this shot here. Can he get into it here? No.
It's not a good nudge either. Okay, he can still pop this, but hasn't got an angle to go into his bad ball. He'd be cannoning into the other yellow. No guarantees of knocking it on, so yeah, not ideal for Ole at all. Oh, that's a good try. It's a good try, but he's opened everything up for Andy.
Yeah, that was really all or nothing, wasn't it? He'd have made it, he'd almost certainly won the frame, and in missing it, he almost certainly has lost it.
Want to land slightly, just about straight on this plant to the left centre pocket. Anything with too much angle, and he may cause himself a slight issue because he's playing on the ball he's hitting. Now he was able to control it enough. Always worry when there's lots of angle there. You can end up putting the red low and the white high and then have a problem, but he's perfect.
Square things back up with 5 minutes and change remaining. Andy Cragg.
Frame.
There's a good chance here of getting himself on the boards. 5.5 minutes left. And it's all square at 2 apiece.
Potentially a lot hinging on the next break.
Yeah, for sure. Reminder of our rule set. We've mentioned it a few times. There's been quite a few that have come up already. I think the one thing that we should mention is the shootout rules are in play, of course. Golden break, golden duck. Put the black off the break, you will lose the frame. Put the black and the white. Sorry, win the frame. If you put the black and the white, you will lose it. Just keeps things interesting right until that very last second.
Yet to see one in the event. We saw plenty in the shootout series and the shootout showdowns, but yet to see it in the Champions League.
And this is how the groups are working. Race to 4 frames on a 20-minute match clock. Whichever one comes first, the race to 4 or 0 on the clock will take the result in that instant. It's worth pointing out as well that if we have a tie at the end of the night on points, we will go to a red shootout, which we will cross that bridge when we come to it. But it's something we should look out for, because if it does come off, turn this Champions League into something that resembles the big break.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch and it's a lot of fun to play in. I had a little bit of a play around with it earlier today, and it is a great little format. Lovely break here for Andy. Great opportunity. Get himself in front at the right time.
Still a long way to go though if we just look at the match clock. If Andy, for example, clears these away, won't eat too much of that time. Shouldn't be decisive should Andy clear these, which you'd expect to. Played well.
Has to play a cannon here, which he wouldn't have wanted to do. And now you can just see where things start to fall away. See, he had to play a cannon where he didn't want to, and he's potentially nudged a red. And yeah, I think he has nudged a red going by his body language in front of a yellow, and he's left himself thin on his next pot. So he's working hard all of a sudden. That's a nice shot.
I'll tell you what.
I think he's having a close look at this, but he wants to play it now if he can, because he wants to leave the one on the left-hand side for his last ball. If that bounces an extra, well, even a fraction of a roll, it's really simple. The way this is sitting, he may not get too close to the black. If he makes the yellow, of course.
Well, this for 3-2. I mentioned plenty of time remaining. He's got a lot of time to line this one up as well. He's not under shot clock pressure. Is to take the lead. Good shot.
Frame.
Andy Cragg takes the lead. Great start for him. Not a lot of time left in this one. About 3.5 minutes, Simon. But as we've seen in multiple times in shootout matches, in the showdown, in the Super Series here on Free Sports, it can be a long, long time, that 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's time here for Oli to get back into it. He needs a good break and he needs an opportunity. But yeah, you can't panic. You have to wait and hope that you get that opportunity. But fair play to Andy there. That was a very good break and dish when looked like things were starting to run away from him. He played a couple of very good shots to recover, and that was a great black, because if he misses that black, he's going behind with and then he's got the match clock pressure.
Yeah, and he's come into this event really as the underdog, a bit of a free hit for him in quite a few ways. If he can get off started with a win, huge potential repercussions for the rest of the group.
Absolutely, yeah. You come in, every match is so important, but in these sort of round robin situations, if you get off to a win with that first match, it can really settle you down, and you can sit back and watch the others struggle a little bit and wait for your second opportunity.
It's not the best of breaks from early, but actually it may come out all right for him. Made a wall at least, so he's at the table. Just look at the spread here. It's not the cleanest connection, but in a strange way, the way they've barely separated, actually left
Reds
them
in play.
okay, I think. He's opted for reds, and I don't think there's too many problems in the road here.
Especially if the two reds that are nearest the cue ball now pass independently of each other, and I think they do. I'm almost certain they do. Then the Reds are, yeah, one good positional shot now into the open. And I think he's played that on purpose the way he did, because he wanted to open up the bottom left-hand corner for the black, because the black's the trickiest ball for him. I'm not sure if he's opened up the full pocket, but it's certainly more open than it was. Black clearly pots to the bottom left, so that was an excellent shot from Ole to open up that pocket. Still needs a good positional shot to land nicely on the black. He may just accept a tricky black, put the white in the middle of the table, but to get perfect position, the yellow that's nearest the right centre is a big blocker. He's a long way short. He wanted to be another foot to the right. Got that one all wrong.
Well, this is now a massive shot for Ole Bale. Oh, cuts it in! Would you believe it? What a shot that is! Absolutely amazing shot from Ole Bale, just when we thought he might have skewered his own chances.
This is some shot. He gets that little flick on the yellow to help him, but considering how bad a positional shot he played onto the black, fair play that he needed a little bit of help, but fair play it has gone in, and this match has gone all the way.
Yeah, this is winner takes all. 3-3 at the moment, so whoever wins this next frame will win the match. It could, of course, still end up in a draw if time runs out. So with 1:22 on the clock, it is all on Andy Cragg. 1:22, plenty of time for a break and dish.
I find it interesting that they're all square with 1:22 to go, and they're having a good debate about the match so far. You don't see that very often. Well, whichever player gets the opportunity after the break, they're going to have to be pretty quick. Not going to have much more than a minute to make the clearance. Who will get that opportunity? You see, Ole's already up, ready and waiting.
Massive break. It looks like it's going to come up dry. Oh, and the white's in as well. Now then, Ole Bale. 1:13 and ticking.
It's not the best split. You can see he didn't catch that break anywhere near as well as he has done previously in the match. And there's problems in 2, 3, 4 areas.
Red's in play.
Don't know if he can make a plant on the two reds to the bottom right-hand corner. The one in the middle, the triangle area, is a problem. Was a problem. Well, he can definitely make a plant on those two reds now, but does he have a next pot?
No extensions to play with. 40 seconds on the watch.
He's taking his time, and I think he's accepting the draw here. Yeah, just a little delicate one.
And he zooms to the table.
Sit down, please.
I don't think there's any way that either will be getting a victory here. It is going to end in a draw, which is the first one we've seen of this tournament so far. Thought we were going to get a one-handed special from Ole there, Simon, after you built it up, but not to be. Saving that for the last couple of games, maybe. The clock strikes down, and a really good match to open things up tonight. Ends all square. Andy Cragg 3, Ole Bale 3. They'll take a point each, and that is a really interesting result in the context of this group. We have another matchup coming straight away for you after the break. It's a really, really good one as well. Aaron Davis, 2020 World Championship runner-up, is in action, and we will see that match when we come back.